Okay, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to use the split function, a standard way of using it, and we're going to use it with a certain type of problem. A kind of typical thing you might want to use it for, but let's have a look. Let's say that we've got an initial statement here and the order of the sentences is jumbled and I want to reorder that sentence. What I really need to do is actually split that up into separate words, put them into the correct order and then output it. So if I run it as it stands, you'll look, this is an alien species, a message from. What it should say is this is a message from an alien species. I've jokingly called it a Yoda statement because Yoda in Star Wars notoriously had his grammar always out of order and out of sequence. We very cleverly can split. If I use S short prefix to represent a string, this is a convention of using a small letter in lots of programming languages and in programming practice. And if I get the Yoda statement and I split it. Now my very first example, and then let's just display what the result is. So let's put S words in there. Okay, let's have a look at what happens if I just split it. It takes each word and separates it out. Okay, imagine that I split it on the letter N. What do you think would happen then? Look at that. It takes each chunk and groups it together and splitting it on the letter N. Play with this. The letter you use in here can change the split for you. So if I use the letter, if I use ES, see what happens if I do that. It splits it. This is an alien species, but look, it's split it on that. That's essentially disappeared. It's done a bit there. There's another ES here. So it's split it here again, and so on. So very powerful function and very used quite a lot. So I've started the string with this because I think it's very, very useful starting place. Let's go back to our one which just splits it on the gaps between the words. If you don't put anything there, just gaps in the words, separates them out. Very, very useful. Now, this introduces us to a concept of a string array, a very powerful concept. Essentially, a string array is made up of a number of pieces of data which are all strings, but they're all grouped together. So if you look at this example I've just put there, the square bracket represents the fact we've got an array or a list in Python. It depends on which context. This very first item is not item 1, but it's item 0. The second one is item 1. Now, this is the one peculiarity when you're dealing with this type of concept that you will have to get used to. We always start in Python with a 0. Okay, so let's just test that out. Rather than print out, so we've got the whole S words. Let's say I'm going to pop into here, into a single variable, and I'm going to use a square bracket because the square bracket allows me to pick a letter out, and I put 5. Any idea what that would display? Shall we have a look? The letter A. So which letter A is that? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. Let's display 4. See what happens there. 0, 1, 2, 3. It's got the fourth one. What happens if we put a 0 in here? Is it going to give me nothing back? Or it gives me actually the first word back? So this square bracket after this S words, which has used split, is essentially an array. It split all of the words up and I can get access to them each one at a time. So that's very useful to see. Let's create another variable and ask another question. How long is this array? Now, what exactly does that mean when you ask that question? What it actually means is it asks you to count how many items I have here. Let's print it and see what it says, right? Print, and let's say this array is in length, right? And again, I'm using the format function if it allows me to, and I press the right key, format function, and I'm going to insert into there the letter L, which is going to give me the length. So let's see what that gives me back. So this array is 8 in length. What does that mean? Let's count the items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it actually counts the number of items you have here. Where it gets confusing is that it starts with 0, the positions are different, but the 8 is the length. Now, if the length is 8, let's display, can you work out a way of displaying, instead of individual characters like here, can you work out a way of displaying, using a loop, all of the characters one after the other? Well, that's what I'm going to do now. So what we're going to do is for I in range, and we're going to use that length character that we worked out, okay? Now that, if I just print that so you can see what that shows on its own, right, and then run that, bear with me a second, right, run that, it just gives me the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so if this is the line of code that pulls out a particular position, what happens if I slot that in here, and instead of the number 0 I use the letter I, and then I print S, right? And let's have a look what that does. Each of the words is displayed one at a time. Let's emphasize this a little bit more by saying the position, and we're gonna slot into here the position I. The position holds this word. Okay, we're gonna hold it in there like that. Okay, and put a little single speech mark so you can see it. Close that speech mark, use the format, and then use I, and then use S, which we've got from the line above it. So let's have a look what that does. Oh, we've got invalid syntax, we've got a bracket. I think that we're not closing, so we'll close that and run it. Look at this. The position 0 holds this word. Oh, it would be better if it said holds word. Let's do it like that. It's a little bit easier to read. Okay, look at that. Each position, I can find out exactly what it holds. Now I'm going to stop the video there, and I'd like you to build this and attempt to use this information to rearrange the string and take values from one and pop it into another. And then in the next video, we will do that.